So our field school is called Steppe Ethnographies, Mobile Pastoralism, Cosmology and Development in Rural Mongolia. And I'm here today with Mongolia Gantulga, or Muko, and I'll let him introduce himself in a second. I am a departmental lecturer in human geography at the University of Oxford, and I specialize in mobile pastoralism. I'm also the chair of the Commission on Nomadic Peoples, which is an international academic commission focusing on the anthropology of nomadic peoples. And I specialize also in rural governance, land use dynamics, and social change in Mongolia. I became a member of ACMS in 2005, so I've been coming to Mongolia for almost 20 years now. And all of you will have the excitement of going to our long-standing field site in Bayanhunger, which we'll talk about in a second. So, Muko, I'll hand over to you to introduce yourself.
Okay, good morning, guys. This is Mukhirta. So currently I'm doing PhD in human geography at Oxford. So before that, I was a lecturer for several Mongolian universities, more specifically like in anthropology, social sciences, ethnography, and those kind of things, right? So, and more than 10 years, I've been doing field works, field trips in Mongolia, and several provinces, mostly about pastoralism, development, and some kind of the modern social issues like capitalism, right? So shortly, it's me. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Muko. Muko has also started the Mongolian Anthropological Association and is really involved in building the institution of anthropology in Mongolia, which is very exciting. And that's a picture of us last summer collecting wool with the local Bog governor in our field site. So the key objectives of this course are for students to understand what ethnographic research is and why we do it, and hopefully enable you to do your own ethnographic research in the future. So through hands-on experience, enabling you to implement ethnographic research projects, or at least if you're reading about them, understand what they entail. And secondly, the meat of the course will be focusing on mobile pastoralism in Mongolia. There's a lot of misconceptions about it. People read one article and they assume a lot about how mobile pastoralism operates. So we're hoping to maybe dispel some of those myths and get a bit more deeper into the specific forms of social and economic organization involved with pastoralism today, livestock-human relationships, pastoral mobilities, and we'll look at some of those pastoral mobilities. Some of you will be mobile with pastoralists in this field school, and then thinking about the relationships with the environment and Mongolian cosmologies. And also through this, we want you to be able to also develop some critical perspective on development discourse. So rather than just taking things at face value, be able to really analyze some of the discourses around development in Mongolia and to be able to form your own opinions based on what you learn during the course. And finally, the last day of the course will be an exhibition or a series of presentations. You can decide what you want to present or create for that final day. And that will also allow you to synthesize your learnings and communicate findings to the public. So we want you to really be able to practice some of these academic skills that we use in our daily work. So we're going to be going to Bayanhunger, Mongolia, which is about 700 kilometers, I think, from Ulaanbaatar. Muko, correct me if I'm wrong. We're going to be taking the public bus to Bayanhunger from Ulaanbaatar, just as Muko and I do every year. We want to give you a realistic picture of what doing field work as an anthropologist is like. So we don't use private vehicles. So be ready for a 10-hour public bus. It in itself is a cultural experience. And we'll be staying in the provincial center of Bayanhunger, as well as our long-term field site of Oldzit, which is just next to the provincial center. So we'll be able to go back and forth between these locations to give you a real sense of how the province figures into herder lives, including school systems, markets, some of the more governance related elements. And then we'll also be spending time, basically these pictures are from our field site. So these are where we're going to go in Oldsit with herders doing homestays, where you will also be herding livestock, learning hands-on what summer pastoralism in Bayanhungar looks like, because all herders are in their summer camps at that time alongside this main river. So Oldsit, as I mentioned, we're going to be traveling by public bus, and we'll be doing homestays with our host families that we know for many years. It's going to be an experiential learning experience, so prepare to be hands-on. And within this, there's a warning that the infrastructure capacity is a bit low. So if you are uncomfortable with not having a shower for several days, or having your own private room in the countryside, then this might not be the trip for you. So that we can talk to you more about that in detail to give you, to help you understand what to expect with this course. And I think that's it. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. This is a picture of the market that we're hopefully going to visit in Bayanhungar, where Muko was drinking fermented horse milk with one of our local herders as well. So I'll just stop there and let any questions come out.
At this point, if anybody has any questions about any of the programs, oh, there's a question for cosmology.
Okay, great, Megan. So you're asking about questions about cosmology in the course. Yes, we'll be visiting. We'll be talking about how Mongolians it's common to most Mongolians, but especially in the countryside, their cosmological beliefs, including their engagement with land spirits, Buddhism. We'll be visiting mountain ovos and thinking about some of the ceremonies they do, mountain worship ceremonies and these sorts of things at different times of year. And we'll be we're planning to talk to some local Buddhist monks with regards to this, as well as herders, to get a sense of the daily practices.